Mhm. All right, guys. All right, guys. Let me pull up. Okay. You get my glasses. Guys, I got like some crazy drink thing going on. I got coffee, eggnog, and water. I'm ready. The little puppy's ready. Are you guys ready? Okay. All right. Galatians 2. Guys, if you did not see Galatians 1, go back and check it out. Oh, look, there's my stuff to stay here for a few days. Okay. Then, 14 years after, I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas and took Titus with me also. And I went up by revelation and communicated unto them that gospel which I preach among the Gentiles, but privately to them which were of reputation, lest by any means I should run or had run in vain. Um, okay, so um, I think it was yesterday, the day, whatever day it was, that there was like a whole bunch of times. Um, God's like, yeah, all the years and days and times, whatever significant, but not for me as far as like, I don't really know. Numbers aren't my jam. Identity is my jam. So other people are going to read this and they're going to be like, oh, 14 years and it means this and la la la. And that's cool. We're just not going to go into that because numbers aren't my jam. So God doesn't like download to me, hey, as you're reading the Bible, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying I don't like numbers. I love 40. I love 4. Like numbers are significant, but not in what he's bringing forth right now on this day with me. Okay. Okay. So anyway, I preach among the Gentiles. Now remember, the Jews were supposedly, God's people, and Gentiles were people who weren't Jews. So he's preaching the gospel to the Gentiles, which means, guess what? Doesn't matter if you're Jew or Gentile, you're already accepted. You're already included. Doesn't matter if you're Mormon or Christian or if you call yourself an atheist. None of that matters. You're already in right standings. That's the gospel. Now, experiencing it, a whole different ball of wax. Okay. But neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised, and that because of false brethren, unawareness brought in who came in privily. Let's see what that. Oops, wrong word. Privily. To come alongside. To spy out our liberty, which we have in Christ Jesus, that they might bring us into bondage. Okay, ready, guys? Guys, ready? Are you ready? Okay. Greeks were basically like heathens. And basically, if you weren't a Jew, you were a Gentile. So if you were Greek, you were considered a Gentile. Jews were circumcised. People who weren't Jewish. I don't know if none of them were, but I don't really understand all of that. That's not my jam. But the point is, if you were a Jew, you were circumcised, which meant you were a Jew, which meant you were God's people. If you weren't circumcised, you weren't a Jew, you weren't God's people. Okay, so if Titus did not want to get circumcised, um, people were trying to go, oh, well, that means you're still a heathen. That means this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's the bottom line. I don't have to go into all of what that meant for them. Here's the bottom line. If you want to drink alcohol, drink alcohol. If you want to get circumcised, get circumcised. If you want to get a vaccine, get a vaccine. If you want to vote Republican, vote Republican. If you want to vote Democrat, vote Democrat. If you want to get a divorce, get a divorce. If you want to convert into Muslimism? Muslimism? Is that a word? I don't know. Anyway, here's the point, guys. You're already in right standings. What is God telling you? And then mind your own business. Because just because he's telling you doesn't mean he's telling somebody else. And to say God wouldn't say that, mind your own. Okay. Okay. Otherwise, guess what? You bring people into bondage, because then if somebody does something because you say so, or if you do something because somebody else says so, always square up with God. Simplifies everything. I have to drink my coffee first because it's so hot. And then I'll drink my cold drinks. Like you guys care. Okay. To whom we gave place by subjection. No, not for an hour. That the truth of the gospel might continue with me. I have no idea what that means. But the truth of the gospel, let it continue with you. What's the truth of the gospel, guys? You're already plugged in. You're already in right standings. Now plug in, right? You're already in right standings. Plug into that. Be aware of that. Be conscious of that. That is Christ consciousness, right? Sin consciousness is I'm not already in right standings. That's all it means. Boy, that's simple. I'm forgiven. I'm not forgiven. I'm living in my guilt. I'm not living in my guilt. Okay. But of these who seem to be somewhat whatsoever they were, it maketh no matter to me. God accepteth no man's person. Okay, guys, do you know what that? Well, let me finish reading it. Sorry. For they who seemed to be somewhat in conference added nothing to me. Okay. What was that? To lay up in addition. No, that's the added. Okay. For they who seemed to be somewhat in conference added nothing to me. Okay, I don't really know what that means, but let me tell you the part that I do understand what it means, where it says, God accepts no man's person. God doesn't accept your person because you're already accepted spiritually, right? So it's not that God's not accepting your human. It means it doesn't like God's not going to go, oh, look at Lori's human doing these Bible studies. I'll accept her. No, I'm already accepted, whether I do the Bible study or not. The Bible study is a gift to me. I don't have to be in obedience and do the Bible study. I'm already accepted. Do I want to do the Bible study? It's a gift to me from God. That's it. So I'm not accepted because I did the Bible study or because I did anything, because I tithed, because I didn't get a divorce, because blah, blah, blah. Already accepted. Okay. But contrariwise, when they saw that the gospel of the uncircumcised was committed unto me as the gospel of the circumcised was unto Peter. For he that didn't effectually, no, for he that wrote effectually in Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty in me towards the Gentiles. And when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be in the pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hand of the fellowship, that we should go into the heathen, and they unto the circumcision. Guys, the gospel is the gospel is the gospel. If you're Mormon and somebody who's Mormon brings you the gospel, Hey, you're already in right standings. Are these the traditions you like? Yeah, cool. Do that. If you're a Christian, hey, you're already in right standings. Dope. Hey, do you like these traditions of non-denominational Christianity? I don't mean to segregate Christians and Mormons. That's whatever. I'm just looking at the title. Okay. Okay. Uh Christians being followers of Christ, non-denominationals, non-Mormon Christians. Okay. If you're Catholic, which I know Christians still, but hear me, Catholic. Okay. And somebody says, hey, gospels, you're already in right standings. Dope. Do you like the traditions of Catholicism? Yeah, dope. Do that. Muslim. Do you like the traditions of Muslim? Yeah, dope. Do that. Guys, there's radical Christians, there's radical Muslims. There's douchey people who are doctors, there's douchey people who are pastors, right? The job is the person, but what God is connected to in the right standings is their spirit. How that person acts on their connectedness, their acceptedness, is their conscious experience. Cool, right? Okay. Uh yeah. God's like, say that thing again. Mind your own business. Be in right standings before God and see what God has for you. God doesn't accept the person, neither should you. From the perspective of, oh, I can accept you because your wiener's cut, or I can't accept you because your wiener's cut, or vice versa. Right? I can't accept you because you go to a Mormon church. I can't accept you because you go to a Muslim mosque. That's what it's called. Sorry if I'm politically incorrect, guys. Because guess what? It doesn't matter. I love you. I don't care if you meditate, pray, send good vibes. I love you. And the traditions that you choose that Jesus has, hooked up for you is for you. And don't be a douche. Right? And if you be a douche, say sorry for being a douche. Like, what's that thing? Everything I needed to learn about life, I learned in kindergarten. Right? Play, have fun, be your best friend because you guys like grape soda together. And don't be a douche. And when you're a douche, say sorry because we all have douchey moments. Okay. We all have self centered moments. We all have moments where we forget who we are. And then just say sorry. Only they would that, only they would that we should remember the poor, the same which I also was forwarded to do. But when Peter was come to Antioch, I withstood him to the face because he was to blame. For before that certain came from James. He did eat with the Gentiles, but when he were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were of circumcision. Okay. What does that look like in real life? Hey, I'm going to go to the bar and be friends with people who drink, and I'm going to have alcohol with them. And then I see my Christian friend that doesn't drink alcohol and judges people who do. And then I hide in the back room, and then I wait until they leave because they came to preach the gospel. I forgot, like that's where I saw them. They came to the bar to tell the people in the bar that they were wrong, right? So I hid in the bathroom till they left because I was afraid that they would judge me for being with the people who drink, even though we were talking about Jesus while we had a beer. It's basically what that's saying. That's douchey. What has God told you? is your jam on this planet. That's all you gotta ever worry about. Okay. And the other Jews dismissed likewise with him, insomuch that Barnabas also was carried away with their dissimulation. Hold please. Acting under deceit, hypocrisy. Okay, guys, let's talk a little bit about hypocrisy. We think hypocrisy is like, oh, you claim to be a Christian and you drink alcohol. Well, that's not hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is anytime you claim to be plugged in and you're not. That's hypocrisy. If I go, I love Jesus and the fuck word, and I'm all good, no hypocrisy there. Now, if I thought that the fuck word was a bad word, and with my friends, I'm like, yeah, fuck word, fuck word, fuck word. And then I show up at church and I'm like, I would never say that the F word. It's bad. That's hypocrisy. I was going to say that was hypocrisy, but guess what? That's hypocrisy. The act of saying the fuck word is, well, again, I guess if I think it's wrong and I'm saying it over there, ooh, but do I subconsciously believe it's wrong or do I just cognitively think it's wrong? That would change everything too. Why? Because it changes the energy. Hypocrisy is just unlined up energy. It's being a douche. Don't be a douche. Okay. But when I was that, they walked not uprightly according to the truth of the gospel. I say unto Peter before them all, if thou be in being a Jew liveth under the manner of Gentiles, and not as do the Jews, why compellest thou the Gentiles to live as do the Jews? Okay, lots of words. Here's the bottom line. Are you guys ready? It's going to be super profound. Plug in, mind your own business, right? We get so caught up in the person, right? This is why God doesn't accept the person. We get so caught up in the person and the tradition and the physical behaviors or beliefs or traditions or whatever. Like we have wars over what we believe God is. Yet one person celebrates, turkey on Christmas, and one person celebrates with roast beef. We're not having wars over that, yet God defines himself as the all in all. So weird, right? So weird. We've got this a little mixed up, guys. So what's the bottom line? We're all already in right standings. We're all already crucified with Christ. We were all raised with Christ. Our consciousness is what tells the story of our life, right? I mean, guys, that's in the book. I'm not making this shit up. What's in the book? Sin consciousness, Christ consciousness. There's two consciousnesses. Now there's different phases of the consciousnesses. Okay. Whole nother story. However, there's sin consciousness and there's Christ consciousness. I'm either already forgiven or I'm separated from God because I'm a douche. Well, okay, I'm going to change that because something's wrong with me. Because I can act like a douche, right? But if I'm in sin consciousness, douche is the result of being in sin consciousness. That's a good way to separate it. Okay, so if I think something's wrong with me, then I act from something's wrong with me. If I know that I'm already in right standings, I will act based on right standings. Yes? That's as hard as it gets. Let that sink in. That's as hard as it gets. Okay. I was just waiting to see if there's any other things I was supposed to say to that. Oh, here's the other thing. Because as I went back and looked down, okay, if I believe it, cause and effect, guys, data, feedback. Okay, ready? If I think I'm in right standings and I'm hiding in the bathroom, I don't actually embody that I'm in right standings. Did you guys catch that? If I claim, hey guys, I'm in right standings, and then I go hide in the bathroom, it's what we talked about the other day. If you claim that you love God and that God loves you and that he's in control and he's good, and then you worry about your finances, you don't believe that God's good. You don't believe that he'll take care of you. You don't believe he's a good dad, or you don't believe that you deserve it. Why don't you believe you deserve it? Well, because you probably think you sinned and don't deserve it, which means you're in sin consciousness, which means you're not plugged in, because you're either plugged in or you're not, period. You're either plugged in or you're not, period. Now, can I do douchey things plugged in? Yes, because I'm always doing the best I can and I'm always growing. But if I have the awareness, oh, you know what, I did a douchey thing, and I don't go and apologize for the douchey thing, then I wasn't in right standings when I did the douchey thing. Right. But if I go, oh man, I was doing the best I could, and I'm so sorry that that hurt you, or I'm so sorry that I totally blew it there. Right. I'm right standings. But if I'm like, oh shit, I did a douchey thing, I don't want other people to know that I did a douchey thing. Not in right standings. Probably did it through some manipulation. And now you don't want to face that you were being manipulative. Yeah. Okay. We who are Jews by nature and not sinners of the Gentiles, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith in Jesus Christ. Even we have believed in Jesus Christ, that we might be justified by the faith in Christ, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. Oh, guys, this is what we've been saying. Okay, now here it is in actual words. Knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law. Okay, I'm not justified by the works of the law. I'm already justified. Can I work the law based on my justification? Sure. But my works of the law don't justify me. Knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Jesus Christ. What's the faith of Jesus Christ? I'm already in right standings. I'm already justified. That's what Christ proved on the cross. I'm already in right standings. I'm already justified. Yes? Even we have believed in Jesus Christ that we might be justified by the faith of Christ and not by the works of the law. For the works of the law will justify no faith. Why? God doesn't accept the person. You're already justified. Yeah? Okay. But if we, while we seek to be justified by Christ, we ourselves also are found sinners, is therefore Christ the minister of sin? God forbid. For if I build against the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor. For I, through the law, am dead to the law, that I might live unto God. And then I'm crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live. We've talked about that over and over and over. But guys, here's that whole verse that, which one is it? 17. But if we are seeking justification by Christ, we ourselves also found sinners. Is therefore Christ the minister of sin? Guys, this goes back to, if I'm already justified, I'm doing the best I can. If I do a douchey thing, which I will, why? Because my human is always evolving greater and greater in my understanding of my already justified. So if I allow myself to come back and remember, shit, that's right. I was already crucified with Christ. It's not me anymore that lives. It's Christ in me. Now it's Christ through me. Sorry, guys, it got really hot in 1 second. It's probably a hot flash, but we're not going to talk about that. But I got to open the window because. All right. Okay. This is where it's so hard to describe the undescribable. Okay. What's the undescribable? This thing called God in us, as us, relationship, falling into love, all of the things. All of the things. Okay. So if I understand that I'm already justified, my identity is proved already in right standings. My identity. What proved that? Christ on the cross. He revealed the truth of physical nature and spiritual nature. Okay? So, as I see more of what's right about me, will I see more of the things where I lack? Yes. And if I think that where I lack in my human is my spiritual identity, it will look like I'm sinning more instead of, oh, this is where I have room to grow in my knowing of who I am as Christ. And now it's a greater unfolding of the love that is you instead of the wrongness of you. That's pretty deep conversation. I feel like that's all I'm supposed to say about that for right now. Okay. For I built against things which I destroy, make transgression, blah, blah, blah. I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but Christ lives in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Guys, that's just all I've been saying. Same thing. Do you believe what Christ did on the cross was to prove your right standings before God? Start there. Okay. And when you live from there, guess what? You're living from that fullness. Wait, I was going to say something specific to that. Nevertheless, now it's not me, right? Now I'm just living out. And guys, sometimes even in my douchiness, it had purpose for somebody else. Maybe it had purpose for them to recognize what Christ is when I go back and apologize. That's the thing, guys. As iron sharpens iron, God's using everything. God works all things together for good. All things. Now I don't have to worry about being a douche. I don't have to be ashamed of being a douche. Do I care if I'm a douche? Well, yeah, because I want to glorify, I want to reveal the glory of God in my life. And when I'm a douche, I don't reveal that. But I'm not trying to reveal the glory because it's not about me, right? But I'm also not beating myself up when I do something because I'm still human. Because I recognize, oh, that's Christ in me working out this experience of Lori. Yeah? Cool. All right, guys. I feel like we're supposed to break there. I know usually we go about 45 minutes, but that's the end of Galatians 2. And I feel like we need to cut it off there instead of like going the extra 12 minutes. So cool, guys. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. This is so freaking fun for me, like so fun for me. And I'm so grateful that you guys watch. And it's always funner to do this when somebody's receiving it. I don't, I don't, mm, I do care, but not very much. Okay, that's funny because I'm like, do I really care if people watch it? I really don't care if people watch it because this is for me. But am I so grateful when people watch it? Yeah, because I'm like, let's share in this joy, right? When you share in the joy, I get more joy. Is my joy sustained? Oh, this is so good. Okay, because I kept going, why am I talking about this? Why am I saying this? Because I care, but I don't care. But how do I express that? Because that's part of the like unexplainable. And I already said, like, I don't care about if people watching this all about me. But I do want people to watch, right? This is that right in the middle of the paradox. But guys, guess what's so cool about this? If I just did this all for myself and didn't like put it out into the world, then I would benefit. Yeah, great. You guys wouldn't benefit from it, right? Which, okay, I can't care about your benefiting because then I get needy, right? But what's cool is when I put it out there freely and you receive it because it's yummy, we both, it's multiplied, right? So we both get more joy. I could do it by myself and be sustained. If nobody ever watched these, I would be so sustained in what the Lord has given me. But when you guys watch it and participate and give feedback and stuff, it fuels that joy even more. Am I sustained? Yes. Is there more? Always. Always.